Welcome to Distilled the Bourbon Podcast, where we drink bourbon and sit around and talk about it. I'm Brent. I'm here with my co-hosts Brian and Chuck. Fellas, it's good to see you again today.
Great to be in. Yeah, great to be in the turret.
What are we drinking today?
Well, I brought some RD1.
Mark Stoops brand.
Mark Stoops, yes, out of Lexington, Kentucky.
University of Kentucky football coach.
Correct. I tried this at the Bourbon Festival and absolutely fell in love with it. Probably the most unique bourbon I've ever tried. Very different. Even the nose of it is very unique. So I'm curious to see what you guys think about it.
Okay.
Well, we're going to try that one. I also brought your Green River Distillery single barrel pick. I've heard great things about it. When we last talked to Karen with a C, she gave us a little taste of what was going to be released as the single barrels. And man, that was the good stuff. You're pretty happy with it?
I'm very happy, and it's very good because I picked it.
You picked it, okay.
Actually, all the single barrels that we went through at Green River, it was so difficult to choose one because they were all just amazing.
That's a good day.
It is a very good day. And normally that's not the case, but with Green River, it definitely was.
Yeah, so I'm glad I got a couple of bottles. I went, I think the day after you released it, and there was like a case and a half left. So I imagine you're probably out by now.
Yeah, pretty close, if not out. For sure.
You're going to do another one sometime?
We will. They only released 100 barrels this year, so it's looking like next year we'll probably get at least one, hopefully two. I'll have to nudge Karen at Green River and hopefully secure two of them for next year.
Karen, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. We love you, by the way. So, Kentucky Bourbon Festival. You guys went. What did you think? Was it a good time? Was it worth getting out there?
It was a good time. It was my first time. I think you've been before.
No, that was my first time as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is an event that is 10 years old or maybe 15. I'm not sure exactly. I think it kind of started as a local event. Now it's become it's a paid event. It's rather pricey. It was $175 for basic admission.
Limited tickets too, right?
Yes, they sold out. Everything sold out. I think in 2022 admission was $125. So a mutual friend of ours told me this year was $175. That sounds like a lot, but you can visit 50 distillery booths and sample from among 150 bourbons, small little samples. But that's you can consume a lot.
It's definitely a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Yeah, I definitely within about the first hour of my Saturday, I said, "Okay, we're just going to slow down here a little bit. Let's go look at some of the merchandise."
Exactly.
And let's now. That said, I saw nobody who appeared to be overserved.
No.
I heard of sightings from a year ago, but everyone was very cool, very laid back, kind of nice in kind of a shady. It's not exactly a park, but maybe it's on the campus of. I'm not exactly even sure what it is, but it's right next to downtown Bardstown. To say right next to downtown Bardstown, for all intents and purposes, it's in downtown Bardstown, but about a block off the square.
So you stayed in town or close by, I suppose?
Yeah, we did. We got hotel reservations a year in advance. My wife didn't tell me what the hotel price is, and I haven't pressed her on it, but it's so
she's a very smart woman.
It's all good, but wonderful event. Like I said, 50 distilleries. I didn't necessarily know people from distilleries that I had visited before, but I at least remembered the experiences and could ask questions. For example, Bluegrass Distilling, which has been in near downtown Lexington, is preparing to move to a new beautiful campus in Midway, Kentucky, right off Interstate 64. So I was able to get a little bit of an update about when that's going to happen. Apparently late 2023. Tours, probably going to wait a little while before they do tours. They want to get their operation running smooth. Maybe by 2024 it'll be open for tours. So many distilleries that I'm fond of and got to sample. Visited a few booths of distilleries whose product maybe the first time I tried it I didn't care about that much, and tried it a second time and found it was pretty good. Yeah. What about you, Brian?
Well, you covered most of it. One of the things I will say is some of the bourbon tycoons that were there. You had Fred and Freddie. Yeah. Of course, you have Karen. There's just a bunch of people there. Brent Elliott. I bought one of the sampler packs that has the 10 different yeast strands.
Yep.
So I bought that and had him sign it. And of course, he's from Owensboro, so we had a small connection there talking about Henderson, and his dad's from Morganfield. So I thought that was really cool. And just all the people that I spoke to, waiting in line, or just anybody in general in the bourbon industry or bourbon enthusiasts, they were all just so kind and so willing to tell you about other bourbons and things to try, things to do in the area. So it was overall a great time, and I'll definitely be going back.
Our friend Tim was real excited to get 2 bottles signed by Fred No and his son Freddie No. Yes. He was on cloud nine about that.
It was like a 10-year-old on Christmas Day.
One of the things they do, they have some premium events. They have to do with things like cocktail tips or maybe food pairings. They're quite expensive. They sold out. I didn't attend any of them, but they have the regular admission includes at 30 minutes past the hour, they have a half hour session with somebody, and I got to listen to a 30-minute session with the master distillers from Four Roses from 1792, Barton 1792, and from Freddie No from James Beam, and it was cool. It was a moderated segment. It was interesting to hear these guys talk about where the industry is going and what's going on with them, and just the camaraderie between these guys is cool too.
I was going to ask, what are the trends? Single barrels, blends, pricier,
finished products,
mm-hmm.
Blended products. I mentioned in a different podcast that at one point Brent Elliott from Four Roses looked over at Freddie No from Jim Beam and thanked Freddie and his dad for what they had done to make blending not a dirty word in bourbon again. It really opens up some possibilities.
Blending is cool again.
It sure can be, and I've had some wonderful blended products now. Not the old cut with white liquor blending, but finding bourbons and whiskeys that just complement each other. So that's cool, and that was a big thing.
Yeah. So were there discussion topics beyond taste? Were there economic discussions, like what's happening in the industry? Is it growing? Is it shrinking? Are people buying more expensive bourbons? Are they buying cheaper bourbons? Anything like that going on?
The talks I heard, there wasn't much discussion about the economics of the business side. It was more of trends and what's coming out.
Consumer theme.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what are you looking forward to? What did you learn that you didn't know is going to happen in the next couple of years?
Well, one of my discoveries was E.J. Curley, which is the subject of another one of our podcasts, something that just came out of nowhere for me. And I was very impressed with both their backstory, love their product, and to find a small batch bourbon of that quality for $49.95, it's kind of a revelation. That's cool stuff.
Yeah, we just tried that in our last recording session, and man, was it good. And how much is that price point?
$49.95.
Yeah, $50
for $7.50.
For $7.50 of a fantastic product that you're going to be able to drink straight, neat, or make a cocktail with. And you've tried all three ways. And,
I have.
And an amazing history. So you'll have to listen to that podcast episode to hear about this guy that I had no clue. Another E.H. Taylor, maybe even more successful than E.H. Taylor.
He died a whole lot richer than E.H. Taylor did. So just a fascinating backstory that I did not expect. Really, I think for me, it was just what a chill event it is. It takes place the same weekend as Bourbon and Beyond in Louisville, which is really a big rock jam fest. And I don't know, 70,000 people or something like that. And certainly bourbon is served, and I imagine it probably gets thrown back pretty good too. This is much more of a sampling event. So for your little price of admission, they give you a small Glencairn glass. And my expectation would be that's what would be my sample glass for the weekend. By the way, that $175 got you noon to 6 on Friday, noon to 6 on Saturday, and noon to 3 or 4 o'clock on Sunday. I think you had maybe a VIP pass and you got to go on Thursday.
No, so you paid extra. I didn't get VIP because I knew we wouldn't be able to stay the entire time.
Okay.
But if you paid extra, I'd have to ask my wife what we paid. Then you get access on Thursday as well.
Our wives are not disclosing a lot of.
They're not. So we'll see if she allows me to go back next year.
Well, I guess everything's good because
everything's good.
They're not setting off alarms,
right? Yeah,
you're not telling us very much about what something costs.
So if you want to go, I guess now's the time to plan for next year.
I'd be making if you want to find a lodge,
accommodations,
for sure.
Otherwise, you'll be staying in Louisville or Elizabethtown, which is a pretty good commute after drinking bourbon.
Any idea when the tickets for the actual festival go on sale?
Springtime, April, May time frame.
Okay.
Of all things, I bought my tickets in May. We were on our way to a trip. We were flying, and it was on one of those rare commercial flights where there was free Wi-Fi available. And my wife looked at her phone and she had a calendar reminder about when Kentucky Bourbon Festival tickets would go on sale. And mid-flight, she says, "Oh, hey, Bourbon Festival tickets are on sale." I already knew we had free Wi-Fi available, so I said, "I'm going to buy them in midair." So within probably 20 minutes when tickets went on sale, I bought mine. They might sell out in days, weeks.
Yeah.
I think the VIP passes. Well, I looked
The
at those.
first day they were
They,
gone.
they sold out pretty quick.
Yeah. And I would say if you're wanting to go onto their website, follow them, put your email in there, and they'll give you updates as far as when the tickets will go on sale.
Okay.
So that's what I did, and I'm sure that's what Donna did to get the reminder to.
So you guys would go back.
For sure, yes,
for sure. I think we have a conflict next year. I'd like to go back. So I said it's a sellout, but this is not tens of thousands of people. There are hundreds, maybe there's thousands, but it's spread out over several acres. They have a very nice food court area. I'm told they really expanded that area and made it much more comfortable. Probably 10 food trucks to choose from. Plus, you have a wristband so you can go in and out when you want to.
Yeah.
As I said, it's shady. The weather this year was fabulous. You just couldn't ask for a better September afternoon. But it's just really the distilleries and the merchandise vendors seem to be glad to be there. By and large, like to chat with you. Met some people. Actually sat down at a table with some people who had a couple of empty seats. They turned out to be from Maryland. One of the guys was a pilot, so he flew into the Bardstown Airport, and they had booked some kind. I think it might have been an Airbnb, a duplex, possibly, and the owners didn't realize that it was when the Kentucky Bourbon Festival was going to be, so they got it at regular prices.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
As opposed to like 3 times
the
normal price.
Nice.
But it's so. Any individual booth at any moment might be a little bit crowded, but if that booth is kind of crowded, go someplace else. I tried some familiar stuff. I tried stuff I never heard of before. Some people were serving cocktails. Our friends at Green River had cocktails. It's just a laid back, chill, great place. And as it happened, we happen to stay at the Hampton Inn, 1.1 miles away, and good sidewalks. If we had chosen to walk,
sure,
it would have been doable. Parking, we made it work. I think we actually paid on Saturday to park someplace. We paid at a school like $10. Looked like their PTA or something was selling tickets, so that's fine.
So were our friends from the craft distilleries there?
They have a whole craft area. So there was one area kind of on top of the hill where most of the big distilleries were, but then the craft area had its own area along with merchandise, and they had a stage down there where for 30 minutes they'd have somebody playing music, and for 30 minutes they'd have speakers doing like a panel discussion. A lot of wide open space in between. I just thought it was a well-run festival. And there was no silliness, no rowdiness, no overconsumption that I saw. Just a nice event. I'd like to go back.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a trolley that was running to each hotel, and there's Uber available just that one weekend in Bardstown. So that tells you what type of event it is.
I'd say the trolley was pretty hit and miss. It might come around every 45 minutes. So if you just missed it, you might have a wait.
Yeah, we took the trolley down there, and then we would actually call a cab to come pick us up in the evening time. So, but I mean, it was relatively quick. We waited maybe 10 minutes tops, and they were right there and got us got us home safely. So
you probably want to line up your lodging in September or October the year before. The event takes place in mid-September. Tickets go on sale, well, at least this year around May. You can sign up, as Brian said, at the website and get a notification. If you're a big bourbon fan, I think it's a absolute bucket list thing.
For $175, I mean, it's well worth it. Just to sample a bunch of different bourbons and get an idea of what you like, what you don't like. And that way, when you go into a liquor store, you go online to buy bourbon, you know what you like and what you don't. So
I paid $175 for way too many bottles of bourbon. So I'd much rather have a weekend full of experience rather than
exactly
one bottle.
And some of the distilleries were selling bottles. Some could, some couldn't, depending on what kind of license they have. Other things I don't really know or care about. But certainly you could buy some product right then and there.
Yep. And there were some allocated bottles. Some of the bigger distilleries had allocated bottles that they would sell, and there'd be a line an hour long, waiting to get a bottle.
Oh, that's so funny. We'd see these huge long lines, and one of them was the Italian sounding distillery in Danville.
Oh, Luca Mariano.
Exactly. So there's 100 people in line. And it's like, what are they giving away? Well, what they were giving away was a little lanyard that would hold a little Glencairn cup. And granted, it was cool. And, I don't know, maybe a little too sweet, but if I could have just walked up and grabbed one, sure, I'd take one. I'm not going to wait in line for an hour.
Yeah.
Later, we saw another long line forming. And so I walked up to the people and I said, so what are you lining up for? Free t-shirt.
Oh, free t-shirt.
I'm not spending an hour in line after paying $175. Granted, that's for 3 days, to line up for a free t-shirt.
Yeah.
I don't need any more t-shirts. The great thing about it was getting all those people in lines for the freebies meant shorter lines.
There you go.
Exactly.
More for you.
It's funny you said that. One of the greatest marketing things I saw was at the Bourbon Fest was New Riff. They had a New Riff fan, like literally a fan. And that's what the fan said, New Riff fan.
Funny.
So I thought that's pretty cool.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I stood in line for a Maker's Mark bow tie at one point, which is so hideously ugly that once I tried to put it on, I had to take it off immediately because it's like, I cannot wear this to this event. I'm sure I still have it somewhere. It will never be worn. But God bless you, Maker's Mark. I love you.
So speaking of Makers, that Friday of the Bourbon Fest, Makers released their Maker's Mark Cellar Aged, which is a new expression for them, 12-year-old bourbon. So a friend of mine asked me if I was going to go. I said no, unless they have some at like 6:30 in the morning. I'd be willing to drive over there. He texted me at like 5 o'clock in the morning and said they sold out in the evening time. Like they started camping out like 8 o'clock the night before for these bottles.
Wow.
Which I'm not that big of an enthusiast of any bourbon to do that.
There's so much good product out there. I God bless the people who really pursue that kind of thing.
I mean, last time I camped out was Monsters of Rock, brother. I'm not camping out for anybody else. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we've got a couple of bourbons in front of us. You mentioned finished bourbons and whiskeys.
I did.
You brought one, RD1. Now, what kind of finish is this?
A Brazilian Amburana wood barrel.
If you say so.
Yes. So I'm not familiar with that at all. Now, one thing I am familiar with is RD1 actually offered us a barrel of this last year. And obviously I said no. And I'm kicking myself once I taste it, for saying no, because it's just a fantastic bourbon, in my opinion. You guys have completely different palates than me, so I'm sure you guys are going to hate it. I hope not, but we'll see.
Well, it has a unique nose. Let me
it
say
does.
that.
Are we trying that one first?
Let's try that one
Okay.
first. I should have looked at the proofs to see which way we're going.
Look at it. It's 110.
I super caramelly nose to me, which is pretty classic.
It's not caramel on the tongue. I can see why you like this so much. This is right down your alley. I don't dislike it, but I get spice and pepper.
Yep.
From the beginning to the end.
Right on the, yep.
There's a certain earthiness to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not your classic caramel vanilla taste. There's that caramel on the nose, but that finishing wood has done.
That's interesting. If you want something different, get this. You have this at the store?
We don't. Actually, this was bought at a liquor store in Bardstown, Evergreen Liquors, which is right downtown. They just opened recently, and they actually did a barrel pick of this.
So this is a barrel pick.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. So you're not going to find another one of these anywhere.
Nope, not like this.
So did you buy this at Evergreen at the Bourbon Festival?
I did. Yes. They were tasting it. I tried it, and I told the guy, like, I'm kicking myself for not buying this barrel.
Well, you didn't know.
I didn't know. Yeah. And it is green, so most people would assume it is a rye. It's actually just a bourbon finish. but it kind of tastes like a rye to me.
It's a high rye, at least.
Yeah, I would assume so. I'm not sure what the mash bill is, but it tastes like one at least.
It does.
Boy, this might make a really interesting Manhattan, wouldn't it, Chuck?
Yeah, I would try pouring a glass of it first before I'd commit to saying a whole barrel of it. But yeah, I would try that. To me, it's like the third cousin, twice removed of a Scotch. There's that kind of a hint of a peat flavor. I'm assuming it comes from the wood. It's a very distinctive bourbon.
I like it a lot better than Scotch.
Amen. Sorry, Scotch lovers. That's more for the rest of you.
Well, very cool. I'm going to take a little swig of water and get ready for something I've been looking forward to since we last sat down with Karen with a C when we were at Green River. She brought this funky looking bland labeled, obviously just for Green River's purpose, single barrel.
Not this
one.
This is
the one that we tried when we were at Green River. Maybe the best bourbon barrel pick I've ever had in my life. And so when you said you were going to have one, it's like, well, I got to get a couple of bottles of that. I haven't tried it yet. So what should I expect? What were you looking for? Were you just tasting bottles and you like this one?
Yes. So it was a hard one, like I said, to choose. It came down to basically us talking through each barrel because they were all so excellent. This it's going to surprise you because it's 119 proof. It does not taste nowhere near 119 proof. So I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, and it's very complex. Of course, it's a single barrel, and I think it tastes much older than it is. I think it's a five-year-old single barrel, but tastes, in my opinion, like an 8-year.
Okay, so I may be nose blind from the last one. I don't get a lot on the nose.
No, I don't either. I get
almost.
I like the nose just fine. It smells sweet.
Oh yeah, brother. You did a good job. That's delicious.
Holy cow.
Yeah,
is that ever smooth?
Very smooth.
Ooh.
I mean, it literally tastes like an 80 proof bourbon that's very complex. It does not taste anywhere near 119.
With
see if I can hold this up. You can see it's nice and dark.
Wow, that is kind of a revelation.
It's complex, but it is smooth. They're doing some interesting things over in Owensboro. The more I drink Green River, the more I like it.
This explains something to me because at the Bourbon Festival, I stopped by the Green River booth a couple of times. One time to talk with our friend, and I went back, I think, on Sunday, and I thought, I'd missed that single barrel tasting that you had at your store, and I thought, well, I'll try it up here. So I walked up to a young man. I didn't know him. He didn't know me at the booth, and I said, "Can I have a sample of the Green River single barrel?" And he said, I'm not allowed to pour that. He said, I want to keep my job. So he was obviously protecting something.
Right.
And I can see why they would want to just pour this out by the gallons. But
how many barrels did they say? 100, 200? I can't remember.
100 barrels total
this year
was released this year. They're going to up that next year. I don't want to give a number just because I can't remember, but they're going to increase it quite a bit next year. So hopefully there'll be more barrels hitting the market. But yeah, just 100 stores got barrels this year. That's it.
That is an exceptional bourbon.
And what's exciting about this is this barrel pick that we did was probably the fastest selling barrel pick we've ever done. And part of it is the price point. For $65 for a great single barrel, I mean, that's hard to come by nowadays. Right. A lot of them are $100. It tends to be, the market now. And with the inflation and everything, and not everybody's willing to pay that amount.
This is a shut up and take my money bourbon.
Exactly.
Right
here.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Wow. I expected it to be good. I did not expect it to be this dare I say, sophisticated for.
I would call that
Uh,
one of my top 10, top 20 bourbons of all time. That is amazing. Boy, Green River has come so far, and they just keep hitting it out of the park again and again. Yep. We got to quit talking them up. They don't give us any money.
I know.
And all we're going to do is make it so popular we can't find it anymore.
Exactly. So become allocated.
Heaven forbid.
But yeah, if you find a single barrel Green River out there, it's a must buy, in my opinion. I think you guys would agree. Yep. For the price point, you're not going to find very many single barrels are that good for that price.
There was some left at your store when I was there 3 days ago, and I just been at the Bourbon Festival, and I had bought a fair amount of product and was not really in a terribly acquisitive mood. I think I bought some cocktail whiskey that day. I'm glad we're recording this because I want to get up to your store immediately after this.
You better go right away, brother.
Yeah. Is it limit one per customer?
Yes. Yep.
What if I say I have a split personality?
You can bring your wife up there.
I could.
Oh, so I'm not going to tell on anybody.
Edit this out. I'll let you get two, Chuck.
Yeah, I bought one for my brother from another mother, Kevin. As you guys know, Kevin, my friend. We're always exchanging bourbons. He always buys me more than I buy him, which I don't know how that happens.
That's a good friend to have.
It's a good friend to have. But he's going to like this one. It's going to be hard to type. It's going to be hard to top, Kevin.
Well, if he doesn't, just do like Fred Noah says, if you don't like it, send it back to us and we'll drink it for you.
There you go. Very nice. All right. Anything else about the Kentucky Bourbon Festival? Sounds like a great deal. You had some good experiences. You tasted some good bourbon. I like the RD1 product. I love the Green River product. Now, when you have another one, you let me know. I might have to go with you on this next one.
You definitely need to. Yeah.
All right. Well, that being said, please drink responsibly.